Welcome to Real Estate and Taxes with Lakshay. I will be helping you minimize your taxes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining on my Tuesday session on real estate and taxes. Today, we're going to be talking about how can you make $2,000 in passive income monthly. So today's agenda will be, we're going to be talking about a brand new idea. It's called peer-to-peer lending. Then we're going to talk about how it does it work, its competitors, how are some of the financial tips and tricks that you need to be aware of, followed by a conclusion. So what is the idea for today? So today's idea is peer-to-peer lending. What does this peer-to-peer lending even mean? It simply means that if someone like your neighbor, family, or friend is in need of money, they can go to a peer-to-peer lending website where they can technically get qualified for a small loan, which a financial institution might not basically qualify them for. So if let's assume I have $100,000, I can go to the peer-to-peer lending website, list basically how much I want to, invest with them, and the peer-to-peer lending website would technically do a background check on all the people who want to borrow money and then basically lend my money to them. What's in it for me? I get to earn interest income, and that is where the concept of $2,000 passive income a month has come in place. You must be wondering, why wouldn't someone go to the bank and get the money? Well, sometimes their credit score is low and it's not above 700, and banks qualify them as a little bit more risky, so they don't give them any loan. On the peer-to-peer lending website, there is no collateral, and technically you can lend them money even if they have 600 as credit score. So now that you understand how peer-to-peer lending works, you technically would be wondering, what are the borrower going to use my money for? Well, they can use it for debt consolidation. They can use it to pay bills and expenses on a month-to-month basis. They can use it for home renovations and many other things. Because it is a little bit more risky, I like to spread out my investment. So if I'm investing $30,000, I'm going to invest $1,000 to 30 different people. So if one of them defaults, all of my investment is still safe and not everything goes away in one shot. So what are the types of loans that you can get through the peer-to-peer lending network? Well, you can get it for home loan, business loan, auto loan, as well as for debt consolidation. These are the 4 categories, but there are many more that you can technically be taking part in. Let's go through the criteria or the process of how peer-to-peer lending works. So the number 1 is the borrower completes an online application on the peer-to-peer platform. So point number 2 is the platform then reviews the borrower's application and then assigns them a risk rating. Number 3 is when the borrower gets approved, they can now look at all of the people who are willing to lend money on this platform and pick and choose which interest rate and which term sheet works best for them in order to get the loan. Number 4, last but not the least, once the borrower picks the individual they want to get the money from, they have to pay in periodic interest payments and pay the full amount at maturity. So what are some of the pros and cons of using the peer-to-peer lending network? Well, technically you get high interest rates and high investment returns. So as a lender, it works very well. You get a high passive income, which everyone loves. The second point is diversification of the portfolio. It allows you basically to stay away from the stock market. The last but not the least, the best point is there's no minimum investment. You can start with as low as $1,000 and pick as many lenders that you want and technically get interest on a monthly basis. So from that perspective also, it's a little bit more favorable to the lender. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, there's always fees involved to structuring this up. So whichever platform that you're using, they're going to charge you an initiation fee. There's also a little bit of lack of regulation. Depending on the province that you're in, you can technically lose the entire amount because it's not protected by the government or it's not backed by the government. Number 3 is sometimes the funding is slower through these platforms because they're doing a background check. They want to make sure that whoever is borrowing the money is the right candidate. So what are some of the risks involved in the peer-to-peer lending network? Well, there's always risk of default. What if the lender who has lent you maybe $50,000 and borrower doesn't end up paying it back? There's always that risk of default. The second one is liquidity risk. A lot of the times, these kind of loan platforms are from 3 to 5 years. So whenever you invest with them, your money is technically stuck for 3 to 5 year horizon, and you can't really pull it back because someone is actually using it. So now to my favorite part, who offers this service? Well, there's three that I have narrowed down, but there's a lot more in Canada. Number one is Lending Loop. You can borrow up to $500,000 for small businesses if your income is roughly over the $100,000. The interest rate can vary from 5 to 25%, and you must have a credit score of over 600. Number two is GoPeer. Borrow 1 to 35,000 personally for 5 years, and again, your credit score needs to be over 600. But this is a good one for someone looking to do a small reno or only need it for a few months. Number three is on Reddit. You can also find informal platforms like Reddit where you can lend up to $1,000 to someone who's looking for help. But you must be part of the borrower community for at least 90 days before you can start this process. So Reddit is a third informal one that you can use. So my final tips and takeaway is, if you're in the market and you're looking to invest and get a higher return, this definitely peer-to-peer lending definitely offers a better return on investment, but it is also a lot more riskier than banks. The peer-to-peer network offers competitive rates, high interest, and it offers a little bit more flexibility when it comes to prepayment. In fact, there's no prepayment penalties if someone wants to prepay you the loan that they have borrowed from you. This can be a place where someone wants to borrow for maybe a smaller amount, like 1 to 35,000, and doesn't want to, the banks won't qualify them, the credit score is not there. So this is a platform that you can turn to in those kind of needs. And I think it works a perfect way for even investors to earn a little bit more interest. So in this scenario, definitely do your due diligence, look at other competitors, see what best fits your investment criteria before jumping on getting the $2,000 passive income monthly. But here's what I wanted to leave you with, a brand new concept. Don't sleep on it, look into it. Until then, next time, I'll see you in the next week with a brand new topic. Thank you and have a good day.